Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Hi, leaders. Thank you again for taking the time out of your summer to join me for the SCPA leadership training. For those of you who do not know yet who I am, I want to take a minute to briefly introduce myself. My name is Barbara Moore, and I currently serve on SCPA's Board of Directors as Senior Leadership Program Director. Originally, I am from Dallas. Currently, I live in Southern California. I joined SCPA 6 years ago at the University of North Texas chapter. I was briefly a chapter officer before serving on the board's chapter development team, which focused on national expansion as well as the development of current chapters. This is my 5th year serving on the board, and I am honored to have the opportunity to work with y'all. And with that being said, let's begin. I want to talk about real quick, straight up leadership. We do have a leadership packet along with a leadership checklist that we're going to have in the comments over to the side, a link to that you can use. And I want to make sure that y'all can see the slideshow real quick. Give me 1 second while we switch over. So you're not just seeing me, you're seeing this wonderful PowerPoint that Aubrey and I have worked on for y'all. While we get that working, I think it's up. So I want to emphasize that SCPA is a national organization. We are the only organization in the industry that caters specifically to students, that being millennials and the younger generation. So the objective of this training, I want to go over what we're about, what it means to be a member, membership, leadership. So once you take advantage of your membership leadership, go over the calendar, which is the major action item for the summer. Go over the resources that we have available to you. And then we're going to open it up for questions. Although throughout this process, there is the board that Aubrey will be making me aware if y'all ask questions that should be answered while I'm talking about a certain topic. All right, so with that being said, everybody, let's get into what SCPA is about, because you're representing us and we need to know what it's about. Exactly. We develop students into event professionals. One sentence, really simple. And we do this through our chapters, our programs, our partners, and opportunities. Our core values, let's talk about that real quick. Everything we do is with the intent to inspire, motivate, and educate. Our hope is that all who affiliate with our organization develop a sincere passion for the industry and for continued education. We believe that you never stop learning. We're all students. That's just how life is. We advocate for the younger generation in the events industry. We cater to millennials, however, we will eventually evolve to cater to Gen Z and so on and so forth. We embrace generational differences and believe that no one generation is superior to the other. By realizing the strengths of each generation and working to bridge the gaps, we are working to advance our industry, because together everyone achieves more. Because we're creating a legacy. We have a dream that our profession will one day have a standardized curriculum accessible at institutions of higher learning worldwide. No longer will we be labeled as party planners or have to justify price or value of our services. Ethics and integrity will be the foundation of our industry, where transparency and knowledge sharing is not the exception, but the rule. This is the legacy we're creating. So with that overall, what SCPA is about, let's go into how you can get the best out of your membership. Real quick, you must be a member to hold a leadership position. National memberships are annual. Chapter membership is semester. If existing members are unsure whether their national membership is still current, instruct them to log in to the SCPA website. Yeah, right here, as I was saying, national dues, $30 annually. Chapter dues, which are payable to your chapter, $10 a semester. That simple. We try and keep it really affordable. Step 1, to join, submit your membership application online at our website. Students must submit their national application online before paying their chapter dues. We recommend having laptops on hand at your meetings for them to do so. Chapter dues must be paid direct to the chapter treasurer. Returning members must pay at the first member meeting that they attend. New members may attend, as in members who have not yet been a member yet ever. They may attend one member meeting before paying to join. That does not include interest meetings, and we'll get into the difference between the two later on in the training, but I want to make sure I make that clear. Yeah, so their interest meetings are always free to attend. So eligibility: in order to be a member, a student must be enrolled in a university and may join regardless of classification, their major, or their minor. So we say this because encourage existing and prospective members, to spread the word amongst their friends, no matter what their major or whatever college or school they're in at your university. It may be a part of their future, like to have event planning and knowledge. Never know. So let's move on to seniors. Graduating seniors are eligible for student membership up to 5 years post-graduation. And I mention this because some seniors don't realize that SCPA is available to them until they think it's too late, but it's not. If they're graduating early, they still are able to take advantage of national membership benefits post-graduation. Connect. Having a membership means that you can connect with other members nationwide. You'll be joining the fastest growing organization in the events industry and the only one that caters to, well, the only one that really caters to students. We have 5 unique programs rolled up into one accreditation. These are education, experience, leadership, mentorship, and scholarship. You can look into more on our website for information about each of these programs. And we will also be hosting a semester membership virtual interest meeting that will talk about these programs in detail. So we also have partners, over $250 worth in bonus benefits per year through our partners. Real quick, our current partners are 3D Event Designer, Cvent, American Marriage Ministries, ourserving.com, the Search Foundation, and the Special Event Conference. Members may log into the SCPA website and go to the Partners tab on the top navigation bar to learn about each partner more specifically and the benefits available to them as an SCPA member. We are always working on our partnerships, and they may not be the same ones, but they're always being explored. So please keep that in mind and look out for updates about our partnerships. Opportunities. We have a database of volunteer, internship, and entry-level job opportunities for you. Through our website, you can upload your resume and manage the opportunity alerts there. Yeah, just by logging to the website. It's pretty cool. Y'all should check it out if you haven't already. Now that we've talked about taking advantage of your membership, right? Let's go ahead and take a step forward into leadership. Because you're all leaders now. You're representatives of our membership. We want our leaders to get to the most out of their membership. We want you to get the most out of your membership. Because there is no hierarchy in our organization. We are all one big family. As leaders, we are in a position to serve. Know that we can have a role to play and are a part of something bigger than ourselves, which is a great honor, but also a great responsibility, right? So with that, the responsibility, uphold what is best for the organization. Please think about the organization, not just about yourself. The most common thing with leaders is that they're not upholding and they're slacking on their responsibilities. It's okay, it happens sometimes, but just please be cognizant of it. I want to talk about our expectations for you each as a leader. Please lead by example. That's one of the most effective leadership styles. Be an active registered member of SCPA. Attend your interest member and officer meetings. Also take advantage of National's live streamed Hangouts. We actually have one today, and we're going to have one next month during the summer. They're great. I've done many of them. And commitment, uphold your level of commitment to your chapter and nationally. We all play a part as a team. It takes every single one of us to make SCPA what it is. It's important to know how much time and effort you can commit to your chapter. Later on, we'll talk about it, but if you're doing your job right, your commitment is going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a week. And communication, communicate. Find the best method of communication in order to work together. If we don't communicate, things fall apart, chapters fall apart, relations fail, and feelings get hurt. It is everyone's responsibility to respect all members and leaders. And teamwork just makes the dream work. Let's talk about the positions real quick. They are listed in the bylaws. However, I want to just read them out loud for you. The president is responsible for the overall operation of the chapter. The vice president is responsible for coordinating guest speakers and supporting the president. Secretary, responsible for managing chapter resources and communication. The treasurer oversees chapter finance, including the bank account, budget, and fundraisers. The membership coordinator oversees membership roster, recruitment, and retention. Programs coordinator is the ambassador to programs, encouraging the members of the chapter to achieve the accreditation. Your social coordinator facilitates networking through coordinations of social activities and events. I know that not all your chapters follow this leadership structure. If you are one of those chapters, please don't worry. Just be sure to schedule a separate call with me so we can discuss this and see if it is beneficial for your chapter. Let's continue on commitment. Though commitment levels may vary based on your position, chapter objectives, and the time of year, the average commitment per officer is 2 to 4 hours a week, as I just said earlier. All right, leaders, so let's talk about the process of becoming a leader. I know right now we're in training, but I think it's important for everyone to know that we do have a process for this to happen. First off, there is a leadership application. And anything that you see that's green and underlined right now in this presentation is hyperlinked. And I say that for you because we will be sending out this PowerPoint presentation later for you so you can have access to these resources. So don't worry if you can't get to them right now. But we do have a leadership application that is on our website. Your potential leaders will submit this application and that application will be emailed to your chapter Gmail account. It's already been set up. Only active SCPA members are eligible to apply for leadership positions and thus may access this leadership application. Second, interviews. And I want to say formal interviews yield serious results. That's all I'm going to say about that. Interviews are going to be done typically with president or another chapter officer. Really intimate, professional. After that, selection. Select the best leaders for success of your chapter. We trust you to know what your chapter needs. And but if you have any questions, I am here for you as your resource. After you've selected your officers, picked them out, know who's going to be what, leadership profile form. Each officer is going to submit their leadership profile so you can capture their bio, picture, and contact information. Once you have all of that, you have the information, you can use that to submit the leadership form, previously known as the leadership update form, which I'm sure all of you have seen me talking about in the Facebook leadership group. This is your roster to us so that we know who everyone is and are able to contact you and your fellow officers. Once that leadership form is submitted, we will email your leadership access to all accounts and resources. We will go over resources later in this training. We will then know who has access and who to contact to include for the leadership training, which is why that was such a big deal for me reaching out to y'all earlier. So thank you so much. Now that we've talked about the process on how to get leaders, once you have your leadership, the calendar. That is your biggest action item for the summer. Chapters are responsible for coordinating meetings and events for their members each semester because this is just the beginning. Let's talk about the first type of meeting your chapter will be coordinating, interest meetings. They are conducted at the start of each semester. Their purpose is to educate prospective members about the organization, to introduce your officers, and share plans for the semester. meaning that at this time you should be prepared and have your calendar solidified. The next type of meetings your chapters will be coordinating are member meetings. They include a professional guest speaker from the surrounding community discussing specific topics related to the events industry, whether that be festivals or concerts or weddings. There are typically 3 to 4 member meetings per semester. The third type of meetings your chapters will have are officer meetings. They are exclusive to your officers and are conducted at least 1 week prior to each chapter meeting and or event. Chapter meeting meaning interest meeting, member meeting. Both of those are chapter meeting. Event, we will get to right after this, being social events or fundraising events. The purpose of these is to share updates, your officer meetings, review action items, and just develop relationships with the other officers at your chapter. Now let's talk about those socials and fundraisers I just mentioned. The socials facilitate networking among members and may double as a fundraiser. Traditionally, chapters host a themed social at the end of each school year to recognize members and leaders. With social, try and find a balance with something that is fun and facilitates networking. And you could possibly add an educational aspect. We're here to learn. These could include potlucks, movie nights, TV marathons, sporting events, community initiatives, even study sessions in the library, or you can do a DIY activity. The end of the year social, I want to touch on this just real quick. The purpose of which is just recognition of leaders, members, and having a final celebration. Usually these are also themed and are just a great opportunity to invite your chapter alum or significant other. Now that we've talked about those, let's go into the, we've talked about it. Let's take the breakdown of how many you should be having each semester for your chapter. You should be having 1 to 2 interest meetings. You should be having 3 to 4 member meetings. And based on those numbers, you should be having 5+ officer meetings per semester. Have about 1 or 2 socials or fundraisers per semester. This will keep you pretty full. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the semester's only a couple months long. Now let's talk about the steps for the calendar, right? This is the purpose of me going over what all of these different meetings are and their purpose. First off, look at your school's academic calendar so you can avoid holidays and exam periods. Once you've done that, use doodle.com, which is hyperlinked. This is to send officers availability requests for your officer and member meetings. Your goal with this is to get a date and a time. Once you lock down that date and time, then find the appropriate office on your campus. They are called various things on different campuses. If you're not sure how to find out what that is, please let me know after this training and I'll help you. But once you find that office, book the meeting room with the date and time that you got from your officers using Doodle. Once you have the location, date, and time, promote. Officer calendars, create Facebook events for interest meetings and member meetings. Sign up for your organization fair at your school to get prospective members and incoming freshmen. Schedule your classroom visits. All officers are required to visit at least 3 classes a semester. If you're having trouble with membership, I'm going to say real quick, I am going to ask you if you've done your classroom visits. Just forewarning. Once you promote, and in that promote link, I also want to mention that we have actually completed in time the promotional pamphlet for y'all. Lots of resources, handouts, links, cool stuff. Be sure to check that out. We've made it pretty easy. After you promote, figure out what your topics are. Decide amongst yourselves what you want to learn about our industry. Use this as an opportunity to expand your network. And I mean expand your network. I urge you to reach out to people that you don't already know in the industry. Use this as an opportunity. If you're not sure what topics are, or you're limited, we do have in our chapter resources topic suggestions document with a huge list for you to look at and consider. After you pick out your topics, based on those topics, find, outreach, and schedule speakers. We also have a speaker outreach email template for you already. You don't have to draft one from scratch if you don't want to or have the time. We've done this and have it for your convenience. And don't forget to send the speakers, once you find them, driving and parking information. We have had that problem in the past, and that is why I want to be sure to say it right now. All right, we've talked about those steps. Let's talk about the formats for each of the meetings. We've talked about what they're about and their purpose, but let's go into what you want to do in each one. Have an agenda for your officer meeting for everyone to look at. First, we start with a round robin. What a round robin is an update to break the ice about life and to foster camaraderie. This is a non-SCPA related update. So this is I think this person is cute, or my mom just came into town last weekend. Those kind of updates are what we consider to be round robins, and we do on a national level as well. After you do your round robins, going one person at a time, around a circle, then it's time for updates. Updates, every officer should have an update for their position. An update is what they've accomplished in order to benefit your chapter, and that's how it's different from a round robin. After everyone is given their update, then it's time for action items, because everyone should walk away with specific deliverables or action items to accomplish for the next meeting. And notes. Although everyone should be taking their own notes, ideally, your secretary should be taking official notes to send to all officers after the meeting. And please keep in mind that you should be copying your chapter's advisor on these notes as well. And I actually think we have 2 advisors on the leadership training. Let's talk about our member meeting. These also should have agendas. All officers should have a copy of this agenda, and we recommend that you provide your guest speaker with a copy as well. Before I get to announcements, let's talk about 30 minutes prior to your member meeting, which is your officer arrival time. Everybody should be setting up, checking your audio and visual equipment to make sure it works, do a run through. At this time, your vice president should be connecting with your guest speaker, going to greet them in the parking lot, giving them the directions, and escorting them to the meeting. Once the meeting starts, start with announcements. These are reserved for officer announcements. They're important updates, calls to action, general housekeeping, merchandise updates, and national events and updates information. A good tip: play music before meeting begins, during your icebreaker, and at the end of your meeting. Just kind of set the mood, set the tone. Just something we find that helps with engagement. In speaking of your icebreakers, these are little activities that encourage your members to network and engage with one another. Kind of a let's be friends kind of activity. After your icebreaker, formal introduction of your guest speaker. Let me say it one more time. Formal introduction of your guest speaker. This helps with your speaker ego. This is professional. They have taken time out of their busy schedule to drive to your chapter and share their experience and their knowledge with you. So please give them a courteous formal introduction. And then they will have time to speak for 30 minutes. A tip about seating arrangement, and I say this to help foster camaraderie: spread your officers out amongst your membership. This makes everyone feel more included and has a point later on with this formatting. So after the speaker is done, you'll have about 10 to 15 minutes for speaker Q&A. A minimum of 3 questions should be asked of the speaker post-presentation. Nothing is worse for a speaker when they present and everybody's just kind of sitting there looking around, glazed. Please be prepared with questions, and in order to make this possible, please make sure officers have at least 3 questions prepared before the meeting even starts, just in case. And they'll already hopefully be spread out, so it won't look kind of obvious, right? There's a method to my madness. After the Q&A, thank your speaker formally in front of everyone for their knowledge and time, and present them with a little gift or favor at this time, you know, like before the meeting wraps up. It makes them feel special once again for donating their time. Quick reminders after thanking your speaker in front of everyone, the officers should reiterate important announcements, including information for the following meeting, and encourage your members to bring a friend. It's quick to say. All officers should be leaving together. Everyone should help pack and clean up. It, again, fosters camaraderie amongst yourselves. It's that leadership and leading by example. And the officers are going to be there helping and be available in case some of your members want to come up with questions afterwards. A little bit of suggestions. I've talked about icebreakers a little bit, but let's talk about refreshments. Do not break the bank on refreshments, but as all of you already probably know, college students really do like free food and drink. As I said earlier, the icebreakers, they do facilitate your members to network with one another. So having something different each meeting is just nice and kind of helps them to wake up as well. Hangouts. If you are a chapter in a fairly remote location, also, or if you're not a chapter in a remote location, we have monthly national virtual events called Hangouts, where we already have professionals in the industry who are going to speak and share their knowledge in the industry. And you can participate in this live event as a chapter. You can get one seat and have it set up in a meeting room and sit there together as your member meeting or social event or gathering. So I encourage you to take advantage of that. Off campus. There are some topics that you just can't do justice in the classroom. That's just how it is. So consider doing an off-site visit to a rental company warehouse, to a hotel, to a venue, et cetera, stuff like that, or a sports arena. If there isn't anything in proximity, you might consider making a half day or a day trip, educational field trip, just saying. These are just suggestions. I highly recommend them. Let's talk about merchandise. These are all going to be linked so you can access them at a later date, but we have graduation cords. They're SCPA Kelly Green. We also have merchandise guidelines. So if you aren't sure about what I meant by SCPA Green, we have the color code and merchandise guidelines available for your convenience. And some chapters like to have a chapter t-shirt that they help fund their chapter, or they want to have for camaraderie purposes, or just to remember their time fondly of being a member by. We have a merchandise approval form for that. So get creative, but submit your design for approval before printing out your t-shirts or what have you. And if you, for your just reference, we do have the brand integrity guidelines that we will be going off of in order to approve your merchandise inquiries. Yeah. Now that we've gone over all of that, I want to dive into depth about the resources that our board of directors has worked hard to accumulate for you over the years. The leadership portal. Oh, I love the leadership portal. Oh, this is great. It is documents and resources that are available on our website. The password changes each semester. So in order to get that password, you must submit your leadership update form. And then you can share the password with your officers. For this semester, the password is represent SCPA, as on the slide. The next resource is the private Facebook leadership group. And this group serves as a forum for our leaders nationwide to share resources, make suggestions, ask questions, connect, and even just share what's been successful in their own chapter. It can be a lot of fun, and it's going to be. All right, guys. So from the fun stuff, let's talk about the bylaws. I get it. They are long. They are boring. However, they are the foundation of your chapter, and we recommend reviewing them with your leadership at least once a year. A lot of things are explained in the bylaws. The officer selection process is explained in detail. Officer descriptions, and just overall how this organization works. So please review them. Another resource that you have is me. As your senior leadership program director, I am here for you as a resource. I want to emphasize the fact that I am not here to chastise you, to make you feel bad. I am here as your cheerleader, your advocate, your resource. I want you and your chapter to be successful. Sincerely, I want you to be successful, and I am here for you as a resource. If you do not have my contact information already programmed in your phone, please take time to do so right now. My email address is barbara@studenteventplannersassociation.com. My personal cell phone number is 214-212-2152. I say that out loud because I know some of you are listening on your phones and not able to view the PowerPoint. And I also want to make clear that there are no levels in this organization. We're all here to support you. And again, I am here to support you. I just want you to just do wonderfully and amazing. I can never, ever say that enough. And at this point, I want to open it up for questions. Don't forget about your checklist. I mentioned it briefly in the beginning. Go over that. Yeah, Aubrey, do we have any questions? I'm going to look now and see if I didn't miss anything. Let's see. If our seniors graduate, okay, Miss Golden Goddess, I believe that's Kinesia. I hope I said your name right, girl. I'm sorry. If our seniors graduate, can they still come to chapter meetings? And Aubrey responded, yes, as long as it does not violate school policy, their national membership is current, and they must pay dues to the chapter. Yes, they can. Aubrey is absolutely correct. Yes, so please post any additional questions in the right-hand side in the chat feature, and I'll answer them for y'all right now. What would the proper chain of command be for issues? That is a really good question. Kanisha, again, so I'm going to talk about that a bit more in the president and vice president call. However, I do want to say for everybody that it is important to treat each other with kindness, open-mindedness, and respect. So be open and willing to compromise, because at the end of the day, we're a team and we all want to be successful. If there is a situation that is that you feel like is out of your control, or that you aren't sure of how to approach, please don't hesitate to let me know. This is not, I don't say this isn't a tattling thing. I'm not going to tell or spread rumor mill. I'm here also to advise you, because conflict resolution is an important life skill and good for all leaders and people to know. So if you just need guidance on how to approach one of your officers, if you're unsure, or even if you're just a little bit frustrated, I'm here to guide you and be a resource for that as well. So I hope that kind of helps. But as far as chain goes, how are y'all so awesome? Ooh. These are some great questions. But yeah, so as far as it goes, I trust y'all to make your own decisions. I want to say that again. I want to be, I'm not here to manhandle or big brother you. I'm just here to provide some guidance when and if necessary. So yes, and your advisor should be a resource. Excellent point. It may not always be necessary to come to me first. Your advisor has a lot of great experience. Yeah, I'm sure they've been through a lot of the similar situations that you will probably go through. So yeah, please use them as well. Oh, yeah. What else? I want to make sure that I have all of these questions. So I do want to make sure there are no levels, but if there are issues, I hope that y'all can talk about them civilly with the person in question. If that makes sense. Like, there's certain fine lines in life also where it turns into talking behind each other's back. There's a difference between that and processing. So I think that it might be good to bounce it off of your advisor. in order to process these kinds of things and understand, or if you need to call and talk to me on my cell phone, which I gave out earlier, I'm more than happy to do that with you. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for all the great questions. Anyone, I say this from a fun place, but anybody else have any questions that they may have? Because if you have it, then probably somebody else is thinking the same thing and just either not able to type or a little hesitant to. There are no stupid questions. I really do mean that. Oh, Sam is currently watching the YouTube live and for some reason is not able to post a question. So, oh, dagnabbit. Let's see. When it comes to marketing and promotion material, should we use only the templates and resources available to us, or are we allowed to make our own materials? Sam, that's a great question. Sam is our president over at Elon University. Yes, you can make your own materials. We have them for your convenience. So if there is something that you want to make, I don't know specifically what you mean, but if you want to make a little flyer for a meeting that has your time, date, and location because somebody wants a creative outlet like that, yeah, sure. I think that it's great experience for your leadership to be able to do things like that. Hi, Brittany. What do you think is the most effective way to get members to interest meetings other than classroom visits? Yes. So first, obviously, I'm glad you worded it like that because classroom visits I have found is the most effective way. Talking with all the chapters I've worked with for the past 5 years in chapter development, it is. But other than classroom visits, the organization fair, word of mouth, partnering with other organizations on your campus, which are similar yet non-competing with your chapter. Hopefully that makes sense. So if there is, let me think of when there was an example. There was a chapter, and I can't remember which one, but there's a chapter on a campus that also there was a sports management club, and they partnered together to do an event, a meeting together. And so they reached out to both of each other's membership to make sure that all of those members understood what each organization was about, what each chapter was about. And that helped increase their membership a bit. And at the same time, provide that educational aspect. So that was a tag team to meetings, but interest meetings. Okay, so I mentioned org fair, classroom visits, partnering with other organizations. I think too, other than classroom visits, talking with your advisor, they also probably have their own experience and ideas from that. And classroom visits also are a good idea just because you're reaching out to different professors in the different colleges and majors that usually are relevant. And I'm gonna sidebar real quick because I have some time. Earlier in the training, I mentioned that it doesn't matter what classification, major or minor a student at your university has. Yes, thank you, Aubrey. It doesn't matter. So you should be reaching out to, depending on your school, you probably have public relations, hospitality management, hotel, restaurant, tourism, family and consumer sciences, business, marketing, advertising. Those are just to name, I think I named 8. So those are a couple, but there are even more outside of that as well. So reaching out to professors and to people in those areas and asking and picking their brain about that, other than actually visiting their classes. Another way to reach out to get people for interest meetings is to share and promote on social media through your chapter accounts and through your own private accounts as well, your personal invitations. And Aubrey has a great point. I'm so glad you brought this up because some people just need a personal invite to feel welcome. So people feel different when Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes you just need to be told what different degrees plans to reach out to. But I want to focus real quick on that personal invite that Aubrey mentioned through the chat. There's a difference between just commonly asking somebody in person and sending an email blast to your membership roster. You should be emailing everybody that you've gotten for your interest list to notify and remind them about when and where and what time, just when, your meetings are going to be at, interest and member meetings, and even social events and fundraisers. And follow up with not a mass text, not a group text. Follow up with a personal one-on-one text message to this person, especially if they're your friend. Like if I was getting Aubrey to come, I'd say, "Hey Aubrey, it's Barbara. I just wanted to follow up and reach out. I'm really excited and would appreciate you coming out to our interest meeting. I think you'd get a lot out of it." Or something like that. Like something short, sweet, to the point, and even just put the date and time in there as well. Like it only has to be like this long, right? Like phone this long. And that just makes them feel more welcome and more personalized and more accountable. When they get that text message just from you individually, like, oh man, they really are going to notice if I'm there or not. Like I better be there and not just like blow it off or prioritize something that is probably less important. So I hope that helps answer your question, Brittany. Yes. And ask one question at the end of the text, like, are you coming? So that it solicits a response so you know if they're going to come or not. Yes. Yes, Aubrey, you are absolutely correct once again. Oh, I love having Aubrey like this. It's so fun. Does anyone else have any questions? Great questions. Thank you, Kenesha, Brittany, and Sam for asking questions so far. And for those of you who don't know, Kenesha is with our Texas State chapter, and Brittany is with our Tarleton State chapter. Wonderful. I'm glad I answered your question. Thanks for letting me know, Brittany. What else? I'm ready. Bring on the questions. I think we have 2 advisors on the call. I believe we have Miss Avery from University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, and we have our new Texas State advisor. Oh no, I know your name. I'm so sorry. It is, I'm blanking out because I've just spoken way too much. Kevin. Yes. Welcome. Yes, go Bobcats. What else? Let me think. I'm going to wait on your questions as well. I'm also going to think about if there's anything else that I should mention. I know I gave y'all my SCPA email address and my personal cell phone number. I want to be able to cater to your method of communication as well. Don't worry about that with me. So if you prefer, or it's easier for you to shoot me a text, that's awesome. If you want to just call me, I will answer, or I'll shoot you a text asking if I can call you right back. You're never going to be bothering me. Yeah, so what Aubrey just said in the group chat, yes, promotional PAT, we are going to share that with everyone. And it does give advice and steps on also how to promote on campus and templates with how to do so. And again, these are templates. And as I answered Sam's question earlier, just because there is a template in the promotional packet doesn't mean that your officers shouldn't also use an opportunity if they want to get a little creative. Just keep in mind our brand integrity guidelines. But yeah, we've had some really awesome creative flyers and stuff in the past from our chapters. Yeah, we just love and encouraging creativity, for sure. It's important in this industry. Not everyone in this industry will have to be creative, but there are a lot of creative outlets, and it's good to nurture and start developing those now, you know? might as well get started. Any other questions? Any comments? Doing really good so far. We have about 15 minutes left until our president and vice president's call. So that is not going to be with me on the video, but we'll all be talking with each other as a forum. So now that I've answered a lot of questions, I think it's time to wrap up the training. I want to thank each and every single one of you for being in attendance. We here at the SCPA Board of Directors truly appreciate you and your time and your contribution to the organization. And please don't be a stranger, connect, reach out, and keep on learning. Thank you so much and have a great summer. Bye.